Divorce, drama over gender reveal. Okay, to start, me, 27F, and my husband, 28M, have been married for 4 years. His parents, his mother specifically, and I have never had any problems, but we've never quite meshed or seen eye to eye. We've always got along and been civil. Our future family has been the talk for years. My husband will be the last of his siblings to have children. All of his siblings have at least one. It's been a running joke in the family that if our first happens to be a girl, she won't be accepted because everyone else had a boy for a firstborn. The joke has never sat quite right with me, but I've laughed it off because I don't want to start anything, and maybe I'm just being sensitive. Fast forward to a few months ago when we started trying. It took about 3 months for me to get pregnant. We tracked my cycle and had scheduled sex for the best chance. Infertility runs in my family, and my hubby and I agreed on a big family, so I've been worried about starting a family so late in the game. When I did get pregnant, we were overjoyed. We had all the typical couple conversations that come with having a baby. The excitement, names, nursery themes, gender predictions, etc. He talked about wanting a son first, so he could be the big, strong leader for all his younger siblings and carry on the family name, a very big deal to him instilled by his parents. I expressed my desire to have a little girl I could dress up and match with. It became a playful banter. He'd refer to the baby as son, and I would call the baby our daughter. About a week before our gender scan, I searched up all the old wives' tales and made us a chart we could fill out together to see who would hypothetically win our little bet. It included the ring test, Chinese horoscope, heartbeat, cravings, etc. The results ended up being about 50-50 in the end, which made us even more excited to find out for certain at our scan. The following week, we went to our appointment and discovered that our baby was a girl. We were both extremely excited. Hubby was disappointed to lose but told me he was overjoyed to be raising a daughter by my side. That night, we called our families to share the news. After calling his family, his mother asked to speak to him privately. I went to bed alone as their conversation carried on for well over an hour. The following morning, I woke up alone. There was a note on my husband's nightstand explaining that someone would be by the house to pick up his belongings later this evening. I immediately tried to call him only to realize he had blocked my number. I then tried his mom. His mother picked up on the first ring. Before I had the chance to get a word in, she started chewing me out, calling me a manipulative bitch. I asked her what I had done, and she told me I'd ruined her son's reputation with my inexcusable behaviors and tendencies. I let her finish her rant before kindly asking her what the duck she was taking about. She told me the divorce papers were already written up, and I wouldn't have the chance to tear apart the family like I had been intending to do all this time. I again, slightly less kindly this time, asked her what the duck she was talking about, to which she told me my husband would be leaving me because our child is a girl. I was gobsmacked. I explained to her that it takes 2 to tango, and there's no way to truly decide the gender of the baby, and if her or her son had a problem with the gender, it was his fault, as it's his chromosome that determines the gender, but she had proof that I'd handpicked to have a girl. Like I said before, we used a calendar to determine which days would be best for sex. Well, MIL accused me of forcing him to do it with me on the specific day which the Chinese horoscope would point to girl. She also interrogated me on the sex position we used to conceive the baby, which I gave her. A piece of my mind told her that was none of her business, but she smugly informed me my husband had already told her, and the position we used makes it 60% more likely to have a girl that way. If anyone's currently trying for a girl, specifically doing cowgirl sometime in the middle of February, should do the trick every time apparently. She finished off by telling me that my clear preference for my family name was disgusting, and she was glad to finally be rid of me and my manipulative ways before hanging up. I've had no contact with my husband since, and it's been over a month. He's blocked me on everything. I can't help but feel that this hasn't all been his choice, but then again, he's a grown-ass adult, so I can't imagine his mother controlling him like that. I've been staying with my sister since it all went down. She says I can stay as long as I need, but I'm thinking I want to get my own place, maybe even a few states away. What do I do? Should I pack up and move on? Should I continue trying to contact my husband? First update. I'd also like to add that I've seen a few comments about my story being copied. It breaks my heart to think of anyone else having to go something similar, My heart goes out to them. Also, I should have mentioned originally that I had a gut feeling to record the call with my mother-in-law, so I have all of that on hand if it's needed in the future. I'm planning to try catching my husband on his way out of work sometime next week. I'd like to hear his side of the story. I've decided, however, that if there is any saving our relationship, I'll be changing my last name back to my maiden name, and our daughter will be taking my last name, or at the very least have a hyphenated name. Call me feminist or whatnot, but it will be non-negotiable. I'll also be requiring many boundaries between me and his mother, and she will not be in my child's life until she can find it in her to apologize to me sincerely and change her attitude towards us. Second update, growing a human is hard as it is, and then add my crazy life on top of it. But after getting hundreds of emails from Reddit today, I realized it must have been shared somewhere else to be blowing up like this, and now that there's so many of you, I figure I owe you all an update. So here it is. Hopefully I can get this all typed out in a way that makes sense. Even though it's been a few weeks since this all went down, I'm still in shock, and I haven't been able to collect my thoughts. Let's just blame it on the pregnancy brain, and pretend that my life isn't falling apart before my own eyes. I was able to catch my husband as he was leaving work one night and got his side of the story out of him like I had hoped. As suspected, he admitted that he was excited for a baby girl, and after speaking to his mom, she forced him to leave and block me. His mother already had the divorce papers ready to go. Mother. I tried to tell him that we could fix this. We could raise our daughter together away from his mother. I know I sound fucked in the head and naive for this, but I grew up in a household without a father figure, and I was hopeful my daughter could have a different home life experience than what I had. Not to discredit my mother. She's a badass woman, and I hope I can be half of the woman she is for my daughter one day. Anyways, my husband had none of it. He said that he realized how conniving and manipulative and Abby*Civ I had been throughout our entire relationship, and he did want to actually go through with the divorce. He said he'd have no problem giving me full custody of the thing that's growing inside of me. That's when I lost all hope. Fuck him. I have no problem leaving a man who's so easily brainwashed by his mother like that. I'll raise this baby alone. That's bad enough, but here's the real icing on the cake. I received a phone call from my soon-to-be ex-husband's brother's wife. We've always been quite close, and she's been my saving grace throughout my pregnancy, giving me all the tips for nausea, etc. She has 3 of her own, 2 boys and a girl. Anyways, she informed me over the phone that she overheard a conversation at weekly Sunday dinner that mother-in-law and husband are trying to blindside me in court and take full custody. I was livid, full on seeing red. I called mother-in-law straight away and demanded to speak to my husband. All he had to say for himself was that he realized he didn't want any of his offspring to be raised by such a manipulative freak. And even though he doesn't actually want her, he's sure he can grow to love her again. I'm not sure what to do at this point. I know I have a good case for myself, but I'm fucking terrified they'll win the battle and take everything from me. It brings tears to my eyes thinking about my daughter growing up somewhere where she isn't loved. Even if custody is split 50-50, I'll have no control over the lies they're guaranteed to feed her. My emotions are going haywire trying to write all this out, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for all of the love and support you all have shown me and my baby girl. The internet can truly be an amazing place. Edit, adding that my brother-in-law and his wife are planning on leaving the family dynamic after seeing the way I've been treated. They have a daughter of their own, and while she's been accepted as she wasn't the firstborn, they're very uncomfortable with the misogyny within the family. BL is the firstborn, and I think the what-ifs are fucking with his head. The husband allegedly left a comment, "What the duck is wrong with you, Aspen? I loved you and I loved our daughter. You paint me out to be such a fucking villain, and none of these pea-brained people on the internet can see through them lies. Manipulation at its finest. You were such a fucking bitch our whole goddamned lie of a relationship. And when we were trying to get pregnant, everything was about you. I can't believe it took me so long to see every single sign. You were so fucking obsessive over your stupid calendar, and we hardly ever used it. You always say you aren't in the mood, or we did it yesterday. I'm too tired, we can skip a day. It was never about me or my feelings. And then when you actually got pregnant, it became even more about you. I'm not eating eggs anymore. They make me sick. I don't want to go to Sunday dinner. I'm not up to it tonight. Let's not get sushi for dinner, because it's bad for the baby. I was so fucking nice to you, Aspen. I literally doted on you like a fucking Prince Charming, and you never even recognized me. I can't believe you string me along all those years. Fuck you and Duck the Fetus. I'm sick of your games. I can't fucking believe I find out about this post on a podcast my girlfriend listens to. You betray me one fucking month until you lose it all like I did. See you in court, bitch. People are obviously now wondering what is real and if this is all fake. However, they are also noting how he reacts to her morning sickness and aversion to eggs. The fact that he thinks she's being ridiculous for not wanting to eat sushi just because it's bad for the baby. His comment of, "Duck the fetus," and, "Oh yeah, his girlfriend." 3 update. Looking for some advice from some fellow divorced moms. I'm currently going through an extremely messy divorce. I'm 28 and almost 35 weeks pregnant with our first baby. I'm not sure if it's the hormones or just the situation in general, but I'm really anxious about what the future holds for me and this little babe. I've been married to this man for 4 years and known him much longer, and I can't even fathom getting back into the world of dating again, especially as a single mom. I'm not planning on dating anytime soon, but every time I think about it, I get so overwhelmed with anxiety. I'd like to have more kids in the future, a happy, healthy family, but I can't imagine myself getting into another serious relationship, and especially having children with someone else after the shit my soon-to-be ex blindsided me with after I got pregnant. I'm going to therapy and working through things, but I just can't stop worrying. I know everything is still fresh and I should just ride it out, but it's so hard to let go of right now. My whole life was ripped away from me, and it feels like I had been living a lie. Has anyone else been through this? I could really use some reassurance and advice right now. Final update. First off, I won the court case. It was a long and draining road, and I won't go into a ton of detail. Privacy and legal reasons. Someone connected me to a great lawyer, and everything worked out exactly the way it needed to. I owe it all to you guys, thank you so much. And second, I gave birth to my sweet baby girl just a few short weeks ago. She is perfect and everything I needed. Babies heal the soul more than you could ever imagine. I couldn't have done it all without my sister cheering me on through everything. I have full custody. He has no rights to her whatsoever.